is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the 2022 Midwest Sim Racing Association Rapid Fired Pizza Nationals. Today, we're at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to get ready to start this party off on a track known for eating up some tires. It's going to be interesting to see how our drivers are able to manage. As always, my name is James East. I'm half of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As drivers are making their way out onto the grid, it's David Centini starting on pole, Evan Longacre starting second, Colby Baber starting third, Kenny Meadows starts fourth, Billy Fitzgerald starts fifth, Barry Stevens starting sixth, Brent Wall starts seventh, Julio Villalobos starts eighth, Robert Cook starts ninth, Diego Villalobos starts 10th, James Howard starting 11th, Jeffrey Meyer starts 12th on the grid, cycling it back to Timothy Davis starting 13th, Braxton DeWee starting 14th, Robert Norfleet starting 15th. Brandon Davis starts 16th on the grid. Scott Stevens starting 17th. Matthew Dyer starting 18th. Patrick Stein starts 19th. Kyle Mullering starting 20th. John Binder starts 21st. Richard Malagani starting 22nd. And that will round out our field here today. Let's get ready to send them out, ladies and gentlemen, to see how things are going to pan out at the Rapid Pizza National Series. One of my favorite series to call, the Xfinity Cars Open Setups. And a lot of great strategy by these drivers. We're going to go 147 laps here tonight. As always, thank you to Rapid Fire Pizza coming on board as this season's title sponsored, as well as our friends over at Old School Ninjas. Couldn't do it without those guys. As let's see what's going to happen here. We've had a few familiar names and faces in the top spot throughout this season, but maybe things will get shaken up here. You may see somebody like Centini, Longacre trying to pick up yet another win. Because to remind you all, last week at Phoenix, we saw a lot of excitement with 7 cautions, where David Centini was able to bring it home in the top spot. He's going to try and make it 2 in a row out here today. And here we go, Centini up on the high line, Baber down low. You've also got Evan Longacre, Kenny Meadows trying to get up there as quick as they can. As a reminder to our fans at home as well, we will have a planned stage break on lap 55. And it is not uncommon for us to go green all the way to that stage break. Right now, Centini getting a pretty early line, looking pretty good here. As we get a little bit more action in that battle for, I believe it's going to be 8. Robert Stokes, Julio Villalobos going side by side, getting chased by Howard and Diego Villalobos. As Centini on absolute rails here, he's already a half second ahead of Baber. This frenzy for about 8th place back, getting a little exciting, but look at that. Longacre's fallen off the pace slightly in the 95 machine. He's dropped all the way back to 4th. And the last thing he wants to do is get caught up in this pack of drivers right behind him. Now for our fans at home, this is the would now be considered the old Atlanta setup. Pre-pave. Look at that, James Howard trying to make a move on Fitzgerald, working the side draft nice and strong here. And he's going to try and work that outside line in his Chevrolet to see if he can pull himself in the top 5. He's going to put the pressure on Brent Wall, the number 6 machine, as Wall puts some pressure on Longacre. Side by side in the battle for 5th. Howard in the Verizon back, number 29 Chevrolet, making big moves. He's about to catch up to the rapid-fired Pizza 95 machine of Evan Longacre. And you know who's happy with all these drivers battling hard is David Centeni, who has a very comfortable margin over the rest of the field. He is 0.8 ahead of Colby Baber here and showing no signs of slowing down. And if we go back to the battle for the top 10, oh my, what a show. That's Diego Villalobos in the 43 machine, Braxton DeWeese on the inside line. Right behind those two is Norfleet and Stevens running side by side. Looks like Richard Malagani's coming down pit road early on lap 7. And has to take a tow back to pit road, so he's got something going on in the 86 machine. But very impressed with how tight this battle is just inside the top 10. Everybody digging deep, looking for a personal best here in Atlanta. As now Colby Baber, Kenny Meadows running second and third, starting to inch a little bit closer to Centeni, your race leader. Looks like Meadows has Howard linked up right behind him. But I think Howard has other plans. He's not interested in tucking in line and playing it safe. He's digging deep here, making a move on Kenny Meadows, moving up into third. And now he's going to try and catch up to Baber in the number 10 Toyota Camry. Now already 10 laps in, drivers will start to have the effects of tire wear come into play. Start falling off the pace just a little bit. Let's go once more. I can't look away from this. Villalobos, the end of Robert Clark, still side by side. Luis follows it soon. Always great racing across the track here. Every Thursday night, open setups, talented drivers. A lot of great racing amongst friends. Are all over each other inside the top 10. Braxton DeWeese in the Ray machine has aptly moved himself up into 8th. He's up 6 spots so far. Current hard charger, though, it's going to be James Howard in the 29 machine. He's up 8 positions early on. As we watch, DeWeese with a big blink there. Rejoins the track, but may have gotten an invisible tap from Diego Villalobos. Villalobos unable to see where the A machine was going to return for. As it looks like Diego Villalobos may have touched that outside wall on the 43 machine as he drops back to 11th. Just behind Mary Stevens in the 78 machine. And here we go side by side once more. That's Timothy Davis, 92 machine, looking at the inside line of Diego Villalobos to work past the 12th place spot. Looks like Davis may have it here crossing the trioval. Looks like Davis is going to hold on the spot as Scott Stevens works his number 55 machine up a little bit higher in the standings. Going a little bit further up, looks like DeWeese and Meyer putting on a show for 7th. Billy Fitzgerald also in the mix with his number 22 machine. Anthony, though, still out front, still a second ahead of the rest of the field, with no signs of slowing down here. Look at that, DeWeese and Meyer still side by side in the battle for 7th. Meyer not going to allow DeWeese by that easily. Right now we're intently watching the battle for 7th. DeWeese is up 7 spots, Meyer up 4 spots. Looks like DeWeese will get the position, try and catch up to Julio Villalobos. A little bit further ahead, James Howard has a little bit of pressure from Kenny Meadows in a battle for 3rd. But Howard was on rails early on in the run. Granted, we're only 19 laps in, so still a long way to go before that lap 55 stage break. But he's using that tire up early to get out there and keep charging forward. Diego Villalobos hints at coming down pit road. Maybe he had a bit of a moment there. Oh, he does, holding on to it. But Villalobos, right as we tune into him, having a wild ride, no caution. We're going to keep things moving forward. But Villalobos has all sorts of problems. That car is all sort of unsettled. Ventini does not want the caution to come out as he's over a second overhead Colby Baber. Baber has just about a second on Howard, while Howard is right being shadowed by Kenny Meadows in the 96 machine. watching the battle for third out on track between James Howard and Kenny Meadows. Both drivers almost identical lap times, right at that 31.2-second mark. But it looks like Meadows hungry to get up there and make something happen. Further back in the field, still a lot of heavy battling. We see a 3-car battle for 8. Julio Villalobos, Gary Stevens, Robert Cook, all in the mix. But here comes Cook looking up the inside line. Somebody tags the wall. I think that may have been Villalobos. Yes, it was. It was Julio Villalobos in the 45 machine. That'll slow down things just ever so slightly. Is now Robert Cook going to try and push forward. Cook and Stevens side by side here. And again, this is really the battle for 8 on the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. Drivers digging it in deep, trying to make everything they can happen. And it looks like Cook will take over the 8th place spot from Stevens. Stevens very quickly falling about 3/10 back, but here comes Timothy Davis in the 92 machine. As well as Kyle Bullring in the 84. Bullring up 9 spots so far. Just a little bit shy of the halfway mark of our first stage rank, or only stage rank of the evening, I should rapidly say. More side-by-side action. Here comes Davis making a move on Stevens. Let's see how low he goes in the tri-oval. As it shows Stevens about 0.05 of a second ahead of the 92 machine. Side-by-side through turn 1 in Atlanta. Oh, there we go. Davis and Stevens get into it. Stevens careening around the track. I believe Scott Stevens also involved in that one. And that will bring out our first caution of the night on lap 28. As thankfully the caution did come out because the field had almost worked itself all the way around the track. So it looks like most of the drivers are going to come down pit road here. Davis Centini still out front. In the 79 machine, he's having a fantastic start to the evening. Oh, but just as we say that, rolls too deep in his pit stall. Let's see if Longacre comes out in the top spot now after Centini had the big bobble. Who's it going to be here? Well, things are shaping up. So it's going to be Colby Baber, Kenny Meadows, Evan Longacre, David Centini, Jeffrey Meyer, your top 5 on this restart. After Centini had that big bobble, having to roll it backwards. gridded back up here at Atlanta as we have our first caution before the stage break has even been able to happen on lap 55. That's when we're going to have the mandatory full course caution. So we'll get them gridded back up with Baber Meadows the front row, Longacre, Centini your second row, Meyer and DeWeese your third row. Looks like Kyle Mulring and John Binder both tied with hard chargers so far as they sit 9th and 10th next to each other on this restart. Both drivers are up 11 positions from where they've qualified. And now you get a lot of the field, just about all the field on fresh rubber. It'll be interesting to see how many moves, big moves are going to be made here. There we go, already bumping and grinding up front, but Colby Baber is going to get a great launch. Kenny Meadows is going to try and fend off Centini, but we know Centini has some very quick pace here. Evan Longacre, Braxton DeWeese, and Jeffrey Meyer in the fray as well. As we go too wide, too deep. Behind third place, David Centini. It's DeWeese, Meyer, Howard, Cook. All in a tight pack, and Longacre with a big moment, the number 29 machine of Howard in the wall. Oh, and still trying to crash. Yeah, there they go. Matthew Dyer goes through pit road the wrong sort of way. And we're going to have a quick caution coming out on that one. So Timothy Davis also involved in the 92 machine, but that was a crash that took a long time to happen after all the bumping and grinding on the restart. And we will try once more to get things going on. So a second caution, most of the field not even getting a full lap before the additional yellow flag was thrown for the front straight shenanigans. Drivers were bumping and banging, and I mean all the way through 3 and 4, so we expected that to come out for a while. So 2 caution before the stage break has even happened. An interesting night here at Atlanta. And Baber is going to have to nail that launch once more in the number 10 Toyota. Getting them gridded back up front with Baber, Meadows in the front row, Deweese and Tinney your second row, Meyer, Longacre your third row. Kyle Murray will be the hard charger at this point, up 12 spots. And away they go once more. Will we see another early caution come out? So it looks like Deweese, and I believe that's Centennial on the inside line going side by side, hinting at going 3 wide with Kenny Meadows on the top line. Drivers opting against that choice, and now Jeffrey Meyer will tuck in behind Centennial. May see him go high here and try and use the draft of Deweese. It's going to be interesting to see who links up where, as Baber and Meadows start to extend their gap up front. And then from 3rd to 5th place, it is all but decided. Centennial following back here as Jeffrey Meyer picks up the 4th place spot. Centennial, your previous race leader, looks to be falling back slightly, maybe going into tire saving mode or tire management mode. But you know who's not hanging back too much is Kenny Meadows, the 96 machine, keeping the pressure on your race leader Baber. There's only 15 laps left to go before we have the stage break, but that being said, we've had 2 very early cautions come out and collect some good drivers. As just a quick pit road report, Scott Stevens did make it back out on track after 2.5 minutes of repairs, but Matthew Dyer, James Howard are both done and out of the evening, as well as Richard Malugani, who had to come down pit road and very quickly disconnected. Meadows trying to keep Baber in striking distance here, which may be easier said than done, as Baber putting down some fast laps and has about a 1/4 of a second advantage over Meadows. Now just about all these guys came down pit road on lap 28 together to take 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas to be able to run it out to the end of the stage break. And here comes Meadows trying to work up that number 10 machine. Just as we say that, Baber with a big blink as well. That is the last thing you want to see here, ladies and gentlemen. Because when those cars kind of disappear briefly like that, your competitors cannot possibly guess where you're going to reappear at. Oh, look at that. Norfleet has let the magic smoke out of the 56 machine. He's going to try and limp it down to pit road, trying to stay off the race surface in case he's dropping oil. And unfortunately, Norfleet's night will be done as well in the Ford Mustang. And it looks like Braxton DeWeese joining the fray here as well. The third place driver, the number 8 machine, up 11 spots. And we're going to see as DeWeese makes his way around Meadows. Now up to second place, number 8 machine. Will he try and go for Baber? They've got 9 laps left to go before the stage ends here today. And it looks like Meadows falling off the pace ever so slightly, but DeWeese has worked his way up to Baber's Toyota Camry. And we may see a battle for the lead here. DeWeese sends it in deep the inside line through turn 1. Will he be able to get clear of Baber? And yes, sliding on up in front of number 10 machine. Will Baber answer going down the back straight? He's got a big run on the inside line. But I think DeWeese may keep him trapped down there, keep him pinned. Will disallow him from carrying the momentum up into the race line. And Braxton DeWeese will take over and secure the lead 5 laps before we have our first stage break of the evening. Looked like Baber may have gotten a little bit close to the wall. Not seeing any damage on the right side of the number 10 machine, but he's got to be careful as the car starts to tighten up, not to get caught out there. As Jeffrey Meyer and David Centini put on a show in the battle for third. Everyone knowing not many laps left before the caution will fly for a planned stage break, assuming we can get to that point without having incidents. So Centini is going to work his way up to third, 7/10 behind Baber. Baber's about a half second off DeWeese at this point. So hopefully DeWeese can keep those blinking issues under control as he's looking good to pick up a stage win here tonight. We watch Mullering has also worked his way around Myers. Here at the fourth place spot. And things are heating up front. Baber, Centennial, Mullering linked up toward this the end of the stage here. But the stage will end here at Atlanta with Braxton DeWeese in the top spot. Gonna pull up the results and get everybody an update on where all our other favorite drivers have finished. To win this stage is going to be Braxton DeWeese, Colby Baber, Dave Centini, Kyle Mullering, Jeffrey Meyer, Kenny Meadows, Evan Longacre, Brent Wall, Julio Villalobos, and John Binder, the top 10 at the end of the one and only stage of the evening. We're going to go on board with your stage winner, Colby Baber, as he will be, I assume, coming down pit road while under caution. Looks like just about everybody taking 4 fresh Goodyears and a tank of gas in that lap 57 pit stop, as Barney, our flagman, proudly holding the standing yellow, letting drivers know we're still under eye-pacing conditions out here at Atlanta. Get him gridded back up, double file. With Deweese and Baber on the front row, Mullering, Centeni your second row, Longacre Wall your third row. And here we go, green flag once more after our stage break has ended. Leads with a massive launch will be chased by the likes of some fast drivers, Colby Baber, Dave Centini, Kyle Mullering, Kevin Longacre. A whole lot of previous winners up here inside the top 5. Deweese has about 2/10 gap over Baber. Baber has Centini right on his back bumper, while Kyle Mullering, who is up 16 positions, going to keep pushing forward here. Yeah, somebody's smoking towards the back. Wasn't that Scott? No, wasn't Scott Steve? I'm trying to see who that was. Diego Villalobos takes a tow back to pit road, and he will most likely be out of the 43 machine. He was already a couple laps down, but trying to salvage the points, unfortunately won't be able to do so until he starts to extend his gap over Baber and friends. Now look at this, Deweese running way down low while Baber, Centeni, Mullering stay in a groove together on the high line here at Atlanta. Going to be interesting to see how this maybe turns maybe plays into the tire wear game amongst all the drivers. They're going to be searching for grip across the raceway, trying to find the fastest way around that also doesn't chew up too much tire, because Atlanta is known for eating up some tires, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 45 minutes into this race. Again, we're going all the way to lap 147. I would imagine we're going to see the next fuel window coming up right around, like maybe around lap 112 or so, based on when the stage break was planned. So any time around lap 90 to 100, I suppose, when the fuel window will officially be open for these drivers, as Deweese is still out there in front, 3/10 ahead of the rest of the field. Not needing a whole lot of draft here as Colby Baber starts to pull back into him with his freight train of drivers. And now it looks like Jeffrey Meyer and Evan Longacre starting to join the fray, as well as the top pack starting to tighten up slightly. Deweese with another massive blink out front. You see the smoke. That's where his car returned on the raceway. And hopefully he gets that corrected before things go poorly. As it looks like Baber is going to fall back a lot. Centini moves up to second. Kyle Mulroney's going to take advantage of the situation as well. And now Jeffrey Meyer, the number 15 machine, he's going to try and work around Baber. And just like that, Baber from up towards the front now finds himself sitting in fifth. That's how quickly Atlanta can come to ruin some dreams, as you see another blink from Deweese out front. Centini, no stranger to picking up wins here at the Midwest Sim Racing Association Rapid Fires National Series. Will do what it takes to get there at the end, but these drivers know we still have a lot of racing left ahead of us, over 60 laps of wide open action. So no point throwing a perfectly good race car away just quite yet, because to win it, you have to be here at the end to make that happen. As the green flag laps continue, Braxton Deweese still out front, David Centini second, Mulring third, Jeffrey Meyer fourth, and Colby Baber runs fifth out on track. But Centini, who had almost a 6, 7, 10th gap in the lead at one point, or excuse me, Deweese had that 6 and 7, 10th gap, now has Centini getting closer. But look, Deweese still running the bottom groove here relatively early on in this run, while Centini and Mulring still committed to the higher line. So I wonder if Deweese is going to chew up a little bit more tire here, running that inside line, or if he's got the car well set up and dialed in for it. Now hard charger on track is going to be Kyle Mulring. He is up 17 positions as he sits in third. Didn't have the qualifying run he wanted, but things are going well for the Chevrolet. And speaking of Chevrolet drivers, first through fourth currently owned by Chevy. Colby Baber, our fastest Toyota, he's in fifth. Brent Wall, our fastest Ford, he's in seventh at the moment. Has once again extended his gap to about a half a second. As John Binder, a little bit further back, has made a move around Robert Cook's number 64 machine. Binder now up 13 positions as well. So a few drivers having some great luck here at Atlanta. Braxton Deweese is up 13 spots. Kyle Moring up 17 positions. John Binder up 13 spots. Julio Villalobos, Patrick Stein going side by side for 11th. Let's see if Stein has anything to answer with against the 45 Toyota Camry driven by Julio Villalobos Jr. We've got about 20 laps less than that before the fuel window will be open for the final time. We're going to see when drivers start to come down pit road if we can make some green flag stops here tonight. As up front, Deweese extended his gap to 6/10 over Centenny. Centenny still has Mullring right in tow. Mullring knows, all right, I've already made up 17 spots. Let's make it a couple more and try and get this thing here at the end. The field getting fairly stretched out. You got two close battles out on track. The battle for second between Centenny and Mullring, which is about 3/10 between them. And Longacre and Wall in battle for sixth. Another 3 to 4/10 separating those two. Now at this point in the run, the lap time's going to really drop here at Atlanta. It's been over 30 some odd laps since last time we've seen our drivers come down pit road. Excuse me, 23 laps. But already you're seeing drivers like Deweese. His last time by was a 32.68. His fastest lap of the race, a 31.21. On board with Braxton Deweese. You can hear how hard he's lifting off the throttle here. Let's look as he goes into turn 3. So very heavy on the lifting. Trying to get that car to do what he wants without burning up too much tire. Barney watches on and the drivers make their way by. But man, Deweese again with some big blinks out front. Thankfully, he's about 8/10 ahead of Centeni, so doesn't have to worry about getting collected. Those little lag spikes we're seeing. Oh, and Centeni tags the outside wall. And that's going to extend the gap that Braxton DeWeese has to over a second here. And also maybe allow Kyle Mullring a chance to battle with Centeni, as they were getting a little bit stretched out as well late in the run. But who's got enough tires left in reserve to make something happen? Mullring's going to look at the inside line in turn one. And just like that, Kyle Mullring will now be up 18 positions, slotting in ahead of Centeni, who had that minor wall tap. The car is getting very, very tight at this point in the run. Battling hard. Centeni has lost the spot to Jeffrey Meyer. Meyer trying to make something happen. And Colby Baber, number 10, he wants to get back up there somehow, but at this point, drivers really struggling with the tire wear, and Kyle Mullring is going to have a little bit of pressure from Meyer, who's finding some pace late in the run. The number 50 machine right on the back bumper of the 84. And here comes Meyer up the inside line of Mullring. Meyer now up 10 positions. Mullring will have to go back to only being up 17 positions. Battling has allowed Braxton DeWeese to pull a 2.6 second advantage over the rest of the field. Now Meyer has been fast, but will he be fast enough to catch up to DeWeese? Let's see what the lap times say. DeWeese with a 32.98, Meyer with a 33.06, so not much time, 0.08 of a second separate these drivers as far as pace. And now even more battling as Centeni and Mullring go at it. So Mullring's going to find himself dropping down the standings as the tire wear rapidly falls off. It looks like Baber's going to try and take a shot at the 84 machine as well. So now the current running order: Deweese, Meyer, Centini, Baber, Longacre, your top 5. As we watch Centini and Baber linked up nose to tail, Mullering has dropped back to 6th, as Evan Longacre has to move that 95 machine up to 5th. Let's see, is Baber going to try and make a move on Centini? Goes in real deep through turn 3, trying to carry some momentum. But does he have the tires to hold it down? We've already seen Centini tag that outside wall before. And Baber's going to try and dive. No, Baber did make the pass. My apologies. So Baber running that high line, trying to keep that car from dragging the wall. The fuel window officially open for these drivers. Patrick Steins come down pit road in the 98 machine. Look at that. I think that's Longacre. Yes, it is. Putting some pressure on Centini. Looks like Centini's going to come down to his pit stall on lap 96. That should be his last planned stop of the evening. So here we go. Green flag pit cycle. Some of my favorite action to call. This could really make or break what's going to happen later on the evening for these drivers to decide who takes home a podium and who's going back to the hauler early. Let's see, does Longacre have the pace to make his way up to Colby Baber, who's 1.6 seconds ahead? Because Baber's charging hard, trying to catch up to Jeffrey Myers with the 50 machine. Down to a half-second difference for these two drivers that will soon be battling for second. Kyle Mullering comes down pit road in the 84. And here comes Baber trying to find a way around Meyer for that second place spot. All the while, Deweese just keeps pulling a bigger and bigger gap at the very front. Julio Villalobos comes down pit road. Scott Stevens also currently on pit road. Are we going to see Meyer and Baber come down together or try and get off a cycle from each other to maybe get some clean track when they roll out, back out for the final stint of the evening? Barring any cautions at this point, everybody should be able to go the entire distance on fuel from this point forward. Baber still trying to measure up Meyer. When are we going to see either of these two drivers come down pit road? Your race leader, Braxton Deweese, also stretching out his fuel run as long as he possibly can. Evan Longacre comes down pit road. Interesting to see will Meyer come in this time by. Your race leader still has yet to cycle through. Up on the high line. Can he hold the position against Meyer? Well, looks like he will do so. The top three ever changing here tonight in Atlanta. Baber will now be up one spot from where he qualified. Your race leader, Braxton DeWeese, up 13 positions. Laps left to go, and there's a whole lot of traffic to contend with. As Colby Baber, Jeffrey Meyer get split, I believe that was Centenni in the 79 machine trying to get his lap back. They're also going to make their way around the 92 of Timothy Davis. It is just DeWeese, Baber, and Meyer opting to stay out on track, who have yet to come down since their lap 57 pit stop. Jeffrey Meyer comes down pit road. DeWeese and Baber stay out a little while longer. Surely DeWeese is going to be getting low on fuel here. But DeWeese just keeps on charge. The number 8 machine. 3 drivers on the lead lap at this point. DeWeese, Baber, Centenni. But Centenni came in on lap 95. So how is this going to shake up on pit road? Now, a total pit lane time is about 43, 44 seconds by the time you cross the first set of cones to the time you blend back out on track in the backstretch. So in theory, I believe that's going to put DeWeese about 10 seconds down from Centenni once the pit cycles conclude. But here we go. We're about to find out. DeWeese comes down pit road. Colby Baber stays out. You get a lap led in the number 10 machine. Baber still stretching out the fuel run here. Braxton DeWeese will come out on track a lap down. So I believe once Baber comes down pit road, that should put Centenni, Mulring, Aker 1, 2, 3. As you can see just how quick fresh tires are on these machines. That's the number 55 machine of Scott Stevens after his lap 96 pit stop. trying to get at least 1 lap back from the leader here. He's still about 3 laps down at this point of the race. And Baber comes down pit road, locking up the tires. But I believe that's going to put Centeni as our race leader. In one of his most comfortable spots, in the first spot here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As it is Centeni, Mulring, DeWeese, Longacre, and Wall, your top 5. Everybody out on track at this point has enough fuel to go all the way to the end here. We still have about 15 drivers out on track, and only 12 on the lead lap out of the 22 that have entered here today. So let's see, Centeni about 2 seconds ahead of Mulring, about 3 seconds ahead of DeWeese. But DeWeese should have some of the fastest tires out on track. He's on 12-lap newer tires in both first and second place. David Centeni and Kyle Mulring ahead of him. But things are starting to tighten up a little bit. Looks like Jeffrey Meyer that's going to be Jeffrey Meyer making a move on Evan Longacre, looking at the inside line, the 95 machine down the backstretch. And ahead of them, Braxton DeWeese is pulling closer to Kyle Mulring. So with 32 laps left to go, this is going to be interesting. Centeni and Mulring come down pit road. They may have realized they're going to be short on fuel here, so Braxton DeWeese, Jeffrey Meyer, Evan Longacre take over the top 3. What is happening? So just like that, maybe some miscalculations on fuel. These drivers showing themselves a little bit short. As Centeni and Mulring will roll back out. Now they had come in around lap 95 or 96, 12 laps earlier than your now race leader Braxton DeWeese. And both Centeni and Mulring did take 4 tires in that final stop, but they're going to be a lap down here from your race leader DeWeese, who's got a very comfortable 2.5 second advantage. trying to put pressure on Colby Baber's number 10 machine, but Baber had just made the move off wall. He's got about 9-lap newer tires than the number 6 machine, so gonna be tough here for Wall to crawl his way back forward because Baber has his eyes on Evan Longacre's 95 machine. Longacre all of a sudden finds himself back in podium contention, but with 10-lap older tires, will he be able to hold on to it? And no is the answer, as Baber makes a quick move in the 95 machine. I wonder if Longacre's having to fuel save a little bit after we saw Centenni and Mullring come in. They were obviously thinking they're going to be a little bit short on fuel, so maybe Longacre's in the same boat, but just trying to maintain and see what he can do here. With Colby Baber, a man on a mission. Patrick Stein, look at that, the 98 machine comes down pit road late with 26 laps left to go. Now, I would imagine Deweese and everybody that's came in since lap 105 should be good to go to the end, but going to be interesting to see as now Patrick Stein, Barry Stevens both in pit road together. Are we going to see your race leader Braxton Deweese keep chugging forward? Or is he going to have to come down pit road once more in the number 8 machine? It's going to be interesting to see. "25 laps left to go. Number 8, Braxton Deweese, has a 3-second gap on Jeffrey Meyer. A little bit further back. It looks like Baber is starting to pull up to Jeffrey Meyer in the second place spot. And this will be the battle for second as traffic wants to hint at making it 3 wide. Baber on the high line, Meyer down low. And it looks like Baber will take over the second place spot from Jeffrey Meyer. Here comes traffic trying to unlap themselves here. Putting those fresh Goodyears to good use. And that top 3 ever changing, but one thing stays concrete. It's Braxton Deweese, the number 8 machine, in the top spot. And only 20 short laps left to go here. Now Deweese came in a lap 107 for 4 fresh tires. Baber now second with 3-lap newer tires, but a 3.5-second deficit to get back up there towards the front is going to be a tough battle for Baber if he wants to make that happen here today at Atlanta. Still great racing all across the track as you watch Centini unlap himself from the race leader. If we go a little bit further back, is Julio Villalobos, Billy Fitzgerald running within 0.4 of a second each other in the battle for 8th. As Fitzgerald getting closer and closer to the back of Villalobos. Most of the field fairly spread out here, but never too late for a late race caution to throw a wrench in things. So let's see if this battle will go cleanly between the 45 and the 22. Villalobos Jr. and Billy Fitzgerald both going 8th and 9th on the track. As you can see the storm clouds off in the distance here in Atlanta. Maybe cooling the track down just slightly. Fitzgerald still within 0.3 of a second of Villalobos Jr. and trying to crawl forward in that number 22 machine. Villalobos came in a lap Villalobos came in a lap 98 with Fitzgerald coming in a lap 102. Villalobos will have a little bit of traffic to contend with. That may slow things down and allow Fitzgerald to get closer, but I think very shortly Fitzgerald's going to have his own traffic to contend with. Oh no, what's going on there? Villalobos gets tagged, hitting the outside wall quite hard with lappers. And just like that, Fitzgerald comes flying by, and now Dave Centini's going to join the fray as well, but Villalobos Jr. just can't catch a break here at Atlanta. So Fitzgerald will move up to 8th, Centini up to 9th. Now Centini with 13 laps newer tires than Fitzgerald may be able to find an 8th place finish by the time this is all said and done, because up front, our race leaders of Deweese, Baber, Meyer, all sorts of stretched out, and it's only 12 laps left to go. So let's see Centeni making his way all the way up to 8th, using those new tires to his advantage. 10 laps left to go. And up front, Braxton DeWeese not having any problems in that number 8 machine. Now, granted, he's on much older tires, but he's got a 32-second advantage on Centeni, who's worked his way back into the lead lap. Now, I guess there's still a chance for a late race caution, so everybody's going to keep moving forward here, but DeWeese has figured something out in that Chevrolet, and things are working well for the driver of the 8 machine. He's up 13 spots. Our current hard charger, though, is still going to be John Binder, the 33 machine. He's up 14 positions. Rapidly clicking off. Centeni's going to hope for a late race caution here as he's trying tooth and nail to stay on the lead lap of DeWeese. Now, he does have those newer tires, and that may bode well for him, but right now it's the Braxton DeWeese show. A lot of track to contend with as DeWeese, does he go 3 wide? He thinks better of it. Not worth throwing away a race as he's making his way around the 55 of Stevens, and that's Centeni just ahead of him. So a very smart move by DeWeese not to find himself tied up in any sort of trouble, as he does put Centeni back down. Another lap. Four laps left to go. Braxton DeWeese looking good here. And a comfortable 6, let's call it a 6-second gap over Colby Baber. Baber's about 2.5 seconds ahead of Meyer here. Two laps left to go. DeWeese with a big blink. Thankful, so thankful he's going to be able to make it home here till the end. And Braxton DeWeese will pick up the win here at Atlanta. Colby Baber will finish second and Jeffrey Meyer third. After we had 2 early cautions, a lot of excitement, but look at that green flag racing from the end of that stage break all the way down to the wire. Some great racing amongst these competitors. As DeWeese again with another massive blink. Thankfully that he did not have that problem later on and was able to secure the top spot here at the Rapid Fire Pizza National Series. And DeWeese gonna enjoy the moment here. Letting it all hang out below our flagman Barry. And a very well-deserved win, Braxton DeWeese. That will do it for my time here up in the booth. I'm going to pass it over to the friends that will handle the podium interview, our additional great help tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.
I'll start with you, Jeffrey, then. My bad. So starting out with our third place finisher tonight, Jeffrey Meyer. Jeffrey, what would you say overall? What are you happy with your third place finish? What do you think overall with your night tonight?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I didn't get a lot of time to practice this week, so I was happy with the third place.
How was the car? Did the track change any from the beginning of the race to the end of the race?
It's hard to tell when I kept making adjustments.
What kind of stuff were you trying?
Just helping my entrance out a little bit, and it didn't make any difference. It was just trying to manage the off the corner throttle and entrance. It seemed like I was losing too much time on entrance.
Do you think there's anything that you could have done or any strategy you could have pulled at any point in the race to squeak out a second or even a win out of here? Or do you think third was about as good as it was going to get this week?
No, I'd say third is about as good as I was going to get. The other guys were faster, definitely faster long run, so it's pretty tough to make up time once you get to that point where the car just levels out.
I gotcha. So far this year, you've had a couple really good finishes, definitely a strong start to the season. It looks like the next race we are rolling into the first road course of the season at the Circuit of the Americas. How are you feeling about that? Does any of this success on ovals bring any kind of confidence into there, or does that translate at all?
Nah, I'll be crap.
Gotcha. No, well, congratulations on your third place finish. Is there anybody that you want to shout out or any sponsors you want to thank?
Well, I got to thank Rapid Fire Pizza for sponsoring the league. You, Evan, for doing all the work you do in the league, and the other guys that help out with the league. You guys do a great job. Forgot who the broadcaster was, but they usually do a very good job too. So I got to thank Nick Ottinger for putting out a good set over at EPI, and keeps me rolling each week. So.
Absolutely. That is our third place finisher, Jeffrey Meyer. We'll see him next week on the track. Moving over now to our second place finisher, Colby Baber, brought his Toyota Supra home in second place. Colby, how are you feeling after finishing second tonight? What was your expectations?
Yeah, I'm really happy with second. I had pretty low expectations coming in. This is my best finish of the season so far, and I think I found a good set of setups that I could run that worked for me. And so getting a second place here is a real confidence booster for sure.
What would you say is the difference between this week and some other weeks? Because you definitely had speed other weeks. You just haven't been able to put the whole package together for 250 or 300 miles. What would you say was the difference tonight?
Yeah, just messing around with different setups and trying to find the setups that work better for me. I like a looser car overall, and I felt like in the previous weeks I've just gotten a lot tighter than I was used to, so I wasn't able to push the car as hard. I had a good balance tonight for sure. It was a little bit tighter than I wanted it to be. I was practicing in sunnier weather, and we were overcast tonight, so it was a little bit tighter on me than I'd want it to be. But yeah, even if I had a better set, I don't think there was any way I was chasing down Braxton. He was just flying. Seemed like he came out of nowhere, but yeah, impressive stuff.
Once the race kind of got underway, what kind of observations did you make as far as, what lines were going to work? And, this track is traditionally very abrasive, really kind of burns off some tires. What kind of information were you trying to gather at the beginning of this thing to, what stuff you might want to put in the memory bank for the end?
Yeah, I was surprised to see the bottom and the middle and 1 and 2 were working pretty well for some folks, and that just wasn't working well for me at all in practice. So I wasn't even going to try, and that I wasn't able to adjust during the race. So I think that was a disadvantage for me for sure. But that's what I noticed the most is people were running the bottom in 1 and 2 a lot more and having success with that. You're able to save more tire down there, and that helps you definitely on the long run.
So like I asked Jeffrey, next week takes us to our first road course of the season. You've definitely had some fast cars. You put together a really good race tonight. Does the momentum from a track like High Bank, does the, 1.5 mile High Bank Oval, does any of the confidence from this translate over to a road course, or how would you say you are as a road racer?
I wouldn't call myself a road racer, but I'm pretty comfortable at a road course. I love running in the NASCAR, all the NASCAR cars at road courses. So yeah, like I said, it's my best finish so far here tonight. So even though it's a different kind of race next week, it's definitely a confidence booster on the road course.
I gotcha. Well, is there any sponsors or any individuals that you want to thank for your run tonight or in the series?
Yeah, I've got to thank simracingzone.com for the Toyota Supra that I ran tonight. It's a great car. And thanks to MSRA for hosting this league. It's always a great time. It's my first full-time season, so happy to be here. And thanks to everybody that runs it and all the sponsors for the Rapid Fire Pizza Series. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. That was our second place finisher, Colby Baber. Now on to the winner of tonight's race, Braxton DeWeese. Braxton, you got me?
Yes, sir.
So you've definitely had speed at different points in the season. You've definitely had some bad luck. I think one race you forgot to de-tape the car. Got hot in the first couple laps of a couple different races, and I've just all around had some bad luck. What was the difference tonight? I mean, I wouldn't say tonight was just a squeak by kind of win. I would say tonight was domination. What was the difference?
Well, first of all, the guys at Reaper Speed Lab built a hell of a car. We were flying right there. At the beginning, we were a little tight going on the long run and whatnot, but with the adjustments I made to that stage and that pit stop before the stage, it really kind of put me at a level of knowing where I could make the adjustments and what would work. So every adjustment that I made worked out. I'm really, really, really proud of that. You know, I'm just starting to get into this open racing and making adjustments and whatnot, so I'm very proud of that. Like you said, we had a dominant win. You know, I honestly did not expect that at all. The only practice I really had was this practice session, only this hour. So really proud of what we could do and come from 14th to win, and just looking forward to next week at COTA.
So with that limited practice that you had, what were you trying to gather in that limited amount of time, and what was your game plan in the opening laps of this race with 20 some odd cars on the track?
Well, in practice, I really wanted to mess with the race set and try to dial that in as much as I could to my liking. I wanted to make sure I could wrap around that bottom like I was the whole race, and make sure I could make speeds there and at the top if I needed to. You know, when I got a little bit of a gap, I'd say 2.5 seconds around there to 2.8 seconds. I moved up top to see if I could gain anything, and I was gaining a little bit, but I could really honestly just run anywhere I wanted to. I just had to be patient with it and make sure I kept the rear tires underneath me, and that's what really, really definitely made me pull away on the long run from everybody else.
Historically, do you like Atlanta? I mean, it's bumpy, it's rough, it eats tires. What's your opinion on Atlanta before and after?
I really love Atlanta. You know, as you can tell from watching the race, you can run like the bottom, the middle, the top, wherever your car could really work and turn the most. So being able to run anywhere you want, literally, it gives us drivers a better chance of going faster and trying to find out which line is better for our cars and the handling of it. So I would just say the worn-out surface and letting us able to run, say, 3 lanes on the track makes it a lot better. Makes the racing a lot more enjoyable as well, a lot more side-by-side racing. As long as the guys are pretty even, there's going to be good side-by-side racing. But if you can really figure out wrapping that bottom and keeping down there, you can really pull away.
So at the end there, we saw a lot of different pitch strategy coming down to the end. At any point, was anything that anyone doing, did that make you ever consider deviating from your strategy, or did you have a strategy? What was going through your mind there in the last 50, 40, 30 laps?
I had a set strategy at the end of the stage there that I wanted to do, and that's what we did. I wanted to go in a little bit early to where I could have enough fuel, but I didn't want to go in too late so I couldn't make up that time. Say if David stayed out and Kyle, I want to say, stayed out as well. I saw that they did it a lot earlier, and I was really, really surprised by that. And then I saw them pit, and I was like, yeah, they're going to do the 2-stop, and it's not really going to work out. And it really didn't. But I was really planning on trying to cut that in half, that last stage there, as long as I could keep my tires underneath it. The second stint of that last stage was going to be a smaller stint than the first one, so I knew I could keep the tires underneath there after I completed that first stint of that stage. So I'm really proud of when I came down, and looking forward to next week.
I'm going to say last question here that I've asked everybody. This coming into this is our first road course race, and it's not just any road course. It's an F1 style road course with the Circuit of the Americas. How does this momentum translate to that, and how would you rate yourself as a road racer heading into next week?
I do all right at road courses. It really just depends on what the track is and how the setup will be. But I've ran at COTA before. It wasn't an Xfinity car. It was in the old Gen 6 Cup car last year. That was open setup as well, though. So I know a little bit of the track and what I need to do. Definitely being smooth, hitting your marks, and not messing up, not overdriving. It's definitely going to be a big key. So definitely going to practice and work on that and try to be smooth and put all my laps together and try to do what we did here at Atlanta.
Well, as we wrap up here, is there anyone or any individuals or any sponsors that you want to shout out?
Yeah, most definitely. I want to give a huge shout out to Reaper Speed Lab. Like I already said, they did a really good job of making the set, and I really didn't have to do much to dial it in, so it was really great. really great car. Hopefully Coda can be the same as well. Custom. Then it's Publical, Allen's Art Images, GP Diecast car. Big shout out to GP Diecast. If you want any diecast cars, as in Indy cars, World of Outlaw sprint cars, late models, NASCAR diecast themselves, 164 scale and 124 scale. Go to www.gpdiecast.com. He'll hook you up. Delivers quick. You know, everything's nice and smooth, and you'll enjoy it for sure. Also want to thank Blaze Designs for making my paint schemes, Scrubbing Tires podcast, NASCAR Technical Institute, CD Cinematography, and everybody that tunes in, supports me on. We're going to try to go do the same thing at Coda.
Well, there you have it. That is our winner, Braxton DeWeese here from Atlanta. So as we wrap up the show here, big thanks to Rapid Fire Pizza for sponsoring this series. Big thanks to Old School Ninjas OSN for being the other head sponsor of this league. And big shout out to Goon Squad for doing our broadcast week in and week out. Thanks to everybody that showed up and raced tonight, and thank you to everyone who is watching our broadcast. We will see you all next week at the Circuit of the Americas. Thanks, guys.